Hello everyone. Let's get into the tutorial. Today we'll be drafting our sleeve pattern, and we're going to be referring to this tutorial for the other projects that we'll be doing. Okay, so I have my paper here, our pattern paper. It's folded into two, and you can see some lines that I've already drawn. So this first line is going to be our shoulder line. It will act as our shoulder line, our elbow line. So you need to measure yourself from your shoulder, so from your shoulder to the elbow. So that's this line that you see, and then you need to measure from your shoulder to your wrist, or from your elbow to your wrist. And then I added 1 inch sewing allowance or folding allowance. Okay, so before we can start, you need to know how to calculate your cap's height. Okay, so your cap's height is this part of the arm that's like a bump, okay, at the top of the arm. So to calculate that, there is a formula that you use, which is your bust circumference divided by 12, and whatever you get, you add 0.5. Okay, so in my case, my bust measurement is 38, and 38 divided by 12 gives me 3.1. So to that 3.1 I add 0.5, so I have in total 3.6. So you need to plot that from your shoulder line. You measure whatever you get. Okay, so mine is 3.6. I'm just going to draw a horizontal line to connect those points. Okay, so remember, it's your bust measurement, that's your bust circumference, divided by 12 plus 0.5. That will give you your cap's height. Okay, so this second line is where we're going to be placing our armhole measurement. You do need your armhole circumference measurement, so you measure your armhole around and then you divide by 2. Mine is 18 inches, so 18 divided by 2 is 9, and I'm just going to put that on the cap's height line. This is the second line that we drew, so I'm going to measure 9 inches, let's say, plus ½ inch sewing allowance. So you can put whatever allowances that you use. I'm just going to add ½ inch. Okay, so it's 9. That is half my armhole, armhole measurement, plus ½ inch sewing allowance. Okay, so the next thing is, so I've had to do a retake on this one because I realized that the video had stopped recording. So I'll just I'll take you through where I'd stopped, and then we continue with the video. Okay, so here on your cap's height, you place your armhole, half your armhole measurement. Mine is 18. 18 divided by 2 is 9, so I put 9, and I added ½ inch sewing allowance. Okay, you can add whatever allowance you use when you are sewing. So the next thing is just to draw a straight line from this point all the way to the top there, the top of your shoulder line. So I'm just going to draw a line like this. Okay, let me do it this way so that you can see. So connecting this point all the way up there. Okay, and then we want to create the back armhole. So what you need to do is you need to get the midpoint of this line. So okay, you just fold your tape into 2 this way, crease your tape, and then measure that midpoint. It's here. So from the midpoint of this line, which is here, you need to go up by ½ inch. Okay, 0.5 should be somewhere there, and then you need to connect this new point all the way back to where you took your armhole measurement. Okay, so just draw a straight line, and then you are going to... Okay, so after drawing this straight line, just take a curved ruler. Okay, or you can draw it by hand. I'm going to be using a curved ruler, and you're going to draw a curve from the midpoint to the corner there, like this. Okay, so this is our back armhole. We've already created our back armhole. To create the back, the front armhole, which is deeper than the back, you just flip your ruler, and you're going to draw a straight line from here to here, and then you're going to curve it in. So it's like you have an S forming on the front. So I'm taking the curved part and I'm just drawing from this point, curving it all the way back there. Hope you can see that it's curved in. I'm gonna flip it this way and curve again from this point back to that corner, and we would have created our front armhole. Okay, so something like this. If you want, you can just draw like an S shape like that. Okay, so you see this S kind of shape. This is our front armhole. The first curve was the back armhole. The next thing is we need to place our measurements on your elbow. Okay, so this is our elbow line. From the shoulder line we have our elbow, and then you need to measure around your elbow so that you know how much. Okay, so I'm having something that's very bulky here, but I took mine. It's, I don't know if you can see that, leaving some room. It's 12 inches. Okay, so yeah, fold your arm a little bit like that and take your measurement at the elbow. Mine is 12, so you divide that 12 by 2, it gives you 6. So you're going to be placing that. Remember, this is where the folded side is, this is the open side. So I'm placing 6 inches. Okay, half of 12 is 6 plus ½ inch sewing allowance. Okay, you do the same thing on the wrist. Okay, you take your wrist measurement. I normally do this, okay, so that you know it will pass by. So you can see it's about 8.5. okay, so if you're going to be having like a placket and it's going to be having buttons to open, you probably should be taking your measurement from the actual wrist here. Okay, but if it's something that you have to put your hand through, measure from here so that your hand can go through it, otherwise you'll have a problem. Okay, so half of that of my wrist measurement is 4.25, and I'm placing it by the wrist here plus ½ inch sewing allowance. Okay, and I'm going to take the same measurement to the hemline. Okay, so it's here. So the next thing is just connecting our points. I'm just removing these things here. So from the top here, you see where we had our armhole measurement, you're just going to draw a line, and then you're going to draw that ½ inch sewing allowance. Okay, draw it in so that you can see, and then you come on the elbow, connect it to your wrist like that. Okay, draw in also your ½ inch sewing allowance all the way to that folding allowance. So we have our armhole here. So what we are going to do is we are going to cut off the back armhole. We're going to cut off the back armhole first before we come and do the front part. I'm going to show you that. I'm just going to take my scissors and we're going to do this very quickly. Okay, and here one more thing, here by the fold, either what I normally do is I do this. Let me cut off the excess so that you don't run short of fabric. Fold this sewing allowance in like this. Okay, fold it in before you cut. Okay, so let's do that quickly. So you cut when it's folded so that when you fold you will have enough fabric left, okay, to do your fold or to do your hem. So I'm just cutting this quickly. You just follow the edges there. It's very, very, very easy to do. Okay, let me just remove this. Oops. Okay, and then you come to the top and we're going to follow this outer curve, this one. That is our back armhole. Okay, okay, so we've just cut out our back. This is the back of your sleeve. okay, the back of your sleeve. So once you've cut that out, you can now go ahead and open your sleeve. Okay, open your sleeve like this, and now we're going to follow this inner curve so that we have our front curve of the armhole there. Let me just turn it this way. Hope you can see. So now I'm going to follow that inner curve because our front curve is deeper. So you can see we have your front armhole curving in more. So if you are to close this, you can see that the back armhole, you see, it's wider, and the inner, the front one is deeper. Okay, so that is how you go about creating your curve. And here where I was talking, you see, where I was talking about you folding before you cut, it creates this kind of tail, so that when you are cutting your fabric and you fold this, you will not run short of fabric. If you don't do this and you cut it straight without folding, when you fold now to do your hem, you're going to run short of fabric. It will be something like this. It will be, there will be a shortage of your fabric. So make sure that you have that tail, and then that's it. So this is your front and this is your back. As easy as that. So you can go ahead and practice. For those of you who've never done this, it's very, very easy. All you need to know is how to calculate your cap's height. So you calculate that by dividing your bust measurement by 12, and then whatever you get, you add 0.5. Then the next thing is just for you to draw these curves. Remember that the front armhole is always deeper than the back, and then you place your elbow measurement divided by 2, wrist measurement divided by 2. If you're going to be making a short sleeve, let's say it doesn't come up to your elbow, so you'll have to measure your bicep. Okay, so this part divide by 2, and that's where your sleeve is going to be ending. Okay, so that is how you go about drafting your sleeve. We'll be referring to this tutorial for the upcoming tutorials. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. Happy holidays. I'll see you in our next video. Bye.